Grace and peace, friends and family. Welcome back. My name is Joy, and I thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me. It's my sincere hope that this video would answer some questions that you have, as well as validate your experience, and also just bring awareness to those that may not know or haven't experienced narcissists in this particular capacity. Before we do dive into this video, I want to take a moment to just highlight a few things to you. If you would like to have Bible study or join me for Bible study when Queens Convene gathers on the first Friday of every month at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. This coming, for the month of August, we are going to be looking at the book of Genesis chapter 38, and we're discussing Tamar's story from Genesis. So ladies, I hope that you will enjoy me so we can continue to grow in God together. On Sundays, I go live at 6:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. I invite you to join me in the live chat as we continue to learn and reach our highest heights in the Lord. And if you would like to sign up for courses at the PGT Academy, visit pinkgirlteaches.com. It's all about emotional healing. Let's get to Mother Dearest. These narcissistic mothers are a trip. You know, they tend to have a son, if they have sons, right? They will have that golden son, her golden child. And it may look like, you know, this child is receiving what the other kids don't get, but make no mistake, it is still abuse. Narcissistic parents in general, they are so detrimental towards their children. The thing about it is, if you are a child, or if your parent is a narcissist, right, you are never seen, you're never heard, your needs are never acknowledged, but rather these narcissistic parents, and now we're talking about Mother Dearest, she looks at her son, her golden child, right, her golden egg, right? Because that's how they treat them. Like, the world can't touch my son, and nobody will ever be good enough for my son, and nobody will ever do the kind of things that I do for my son. That's very perverted, first of all. But they treat them as accessories rather than a person who has their own identity. And the thing about it is, when she has a son who is her golden egg, and you think about the golden egg and how it has to be protected so that it doesn't crack, it doesn't, break, it doesn't fracture. But it's not about the welfare of the child. It may seem as that overbearing and overprotective stance that she has for her son is a positive thing. It's not. All she is doing is grooming him to be her little minion. And once she has this child groomed to act and behave just like she does, now she can go after who she truly hates, women. That would be the women that come into his life. So she gets to continue to perpetuate the cycle of abuse in his life, because even though he may be abusive, he was abused by her, the way she groomed him. But she gets to live out. And, sometimes it's just abuse by proxy, because she tells her son how to treat women, what to expect. She sets the foundation. But they don't have a sense of the children of narcissistic parents. One thing is, you're never afforded the opportunity to develop your own sense of self, your own sense of identity. And anybody who is with the golden son does not stand a chance at having any kind of productive or healthy or loving relationship, because number one, he was never loved. He was never taught how to love. And what she has done is conditioned her son, Mother Dearest, she conditions her son on what love is. You see, love is one of those things that we're conditioned, we're taught, or we're conditioned to perceive love a certain way. So when it comes to this Mother Dearest, she's conditioned her son to believe that love equates affection, attention, admiration, and adoration. So when he gets those, which would be narcissistic supply, he thinks it's love, because it's looking at things from the standpoint of, what can I get from this person? I want their attention, I want their affection, I want their adoration, and I want their admiration. But they don't feed the other person. There's no reciprocity. It's always going to be one-sided. And so what happens is, now these men go off into, they grow and become men. They go off and they begin to be adults and they get into relationship with unsuspecting women. A lot of times, because the mother doesn't allow her son to have any boundaries, they discuss everything about these relationships. She also helps him pick who his partners should be, who he should marry, who he should have kids with, who he should be loyal to, even though there's no loyalty. Because one thing about loyalty is that if you're in an intimate relationship with someone, if you are married to them, what happens between you is y'all's business. You can't trust somebody outside of your relationship more than the person that you wake up with daily. This is the person you go down to bed with. You go into your most vulnerable states, not just, in your physical state, but in your spiritual state. When you open yourself up and, you avail your body to them, that's such an intimate posture, spiritually, as well as physically. But these mothers lie on behalf of their sons. They lie and they encourage their sons to not be faithful to anybody by encouraging them to continue to see other people, to continue to tell them, well, you know what, there are other women. And also, because she has groomed him to believe that she is the end all of everything, she becomes the standard. And if a woman is not like the mother, then it's a problem. But even if the woman is like the mother, she's just as narcissistic, then sometimes, and a lot of times, it's a problem because the two narcs are going to clash. The two female narcs are going to bump heads because it becomes a power trip. But these relationships, they're doomed from the very start. These mothers are incredibly cruel to the women in their son's life. They'll know. I think, just as a woman, for me to sit back and to say that, oh, if my son ever grew up and was playing a bunch of women and I knew each of these women, that I would think it's okay. That's not acceptable. I'm not going to just sit by passively and let him think that kind of behavior is okay. But they encourage this type of behavior. And in fact, they will have one woman over at the mother's house and she's, hey, sweetie, hey, baby, oh, my daughter-in-law. They're not married, but she's saying this to give this woman an illusion of what is to come, to future fake her, right? Meanwhile, he's on a date, possibly out of the country with a whole other woman. And she's also clueless, but the mother knows everybody. The mother knows everybody who their sons are involved with. And as far as everybody, the mother is just amazing and she loves them because that's the part, that's the role that the mother plays. Is to keep her son's hands clean, to help everybody, feel like he's theirs. But there's something that she gets from this. It's a form of narcissistic supply. She gets, the adoration, the attention, the affection, and the adoration of these women. They're calling her mom. Like, stop. You're not married. That's not your mother. But she also has, that whole evil spirit, that whole demonic spirit feeds off the sorrow that she knows these women would experience if they found out the truth about everything. But she encourages her son to continue in these toxic and these non-productive relationships. And what happens is if he ever decides to, or, if she's making a choice of a woman that the mother doesn't like, or if she just doesn't like one of the women in the rotation, right? She does everything in her power that she can to tear this woman down and to tear her apart. God forbid that there are any children that come out of these unions, right? Because the mother's goal is always to divide, to conquer. So for her, she wants her own posse. She wants to have people in her love cult, the narcissistic harem. So she has to tear apart any type of family structure so that it doesn't have the opportunity to become something healthy. And when I say something healthy, no, I'm not including the narcissistic son. We already know that that's a complete write-off. But with the mother of or the son's girlfriend or wife and any potential children that they would have together. That's what she wants to tear apart. That's what she wants to tear down. And so she will triangulate the mother with her children. She projects, she smears, and employs all kinds of flying monkeys to make this a stay at the Bates Motel, but it just so happens to be every day in somebody's life. She'll play favorites, and she'll isolate, some of the grandchildren, or, she just isolates even the woman, her choice, her object of devaluation, her object of abuse, her target out of her son's girlfriends, right? Or her son's woman. She'll isolate that girl or woman from her family, from her friends, just so that she can groom her. Listen, this is so demonic. It's demons grooming people to be passed around to other demons, all for their glorification. Listen, when you find out that somebody is toxic, when you find out that they're lying and cheating, get out. You were never created by God to receive abuse. Abuse is not in the Bible for us. There's nowhere in the Bible that tells us that we must be abused. And don't allow people to talk to you about submission when they're making it sound like a doormat. Submission is not the same as subjection. Subjection is where you agree to be a doormat, or subjection is where people are made to be handled or treated like a doormat, where people wipe their feet. That is not submission. I want to just say this, that when we consider the concept of submission, it is a biblical principle first. Wives are to submit to their husbands as unto the Lord. So first, she is submitted to God. And if she is submitted to God, there is a certain standard that comes from God that tells her that this is beneath me. If it is beneath you, walk away. It doesn't just stop there, but it tells husbands to love their wives as Christ loved the church. So while the whole task of submission may seem like it is a difficult thing, but the role a man must play to have a submissive wife is to love with the love of Christ, which is a sacrificial life, meaning that he lays down his desires and proclivities for the betterment of the entire, of the family structure. So it's not this whole toxic notion that these narcissistic mothers want you to believe that you must be subjected to all kinds of torture. Listen, there is no award. There is no VIP section in heaven for you to be in struggle relationships. There simply isn't. People lose their lives mentally, and their mental health, emotional health, their well-being. Some unalive themselves because these type of marriages, these type of situations, holding on and trying to prove to somebody that you're better than the other person to be a better catch so that you can be accepted by what? A narcissist? A whole demon. Get out of those things. It's never God's desire for your life to be a doormat. That's not what he came for, what Christ came for. So I just wanted to have this quick conversation with you. It's my sincere hope that you are able to pull something away from this. If it is your first time here, welcome and God bless you. And that is Diesel barking in the background, so I apologize about that. But if it's your first time here, I welcome you. God bless you, and have a fantastic day, fearless one.